A little baby Danny here. So I thought I would do it's about 2.5 weeks now. That's how old he is. Hey. I know, right, we're gonna, oh, little Groucher. Hey. Oh, okay, hang on. We're just waiting. Oh, a little nuzzle. For his bottle to calm down, to cool down. And then we're gonna do a feed, aren't we? Hey, morning feed. And he's a little bit grouchy because oh, okay. He's not done a poo yet. So I can kind of like tell that he really wants to do a poo. So we've been doing lots of like what's it called, like the bicycles and stuff, exercises to try and do that. We'll go and get your bottle now. Yeah. So make sure it's not too hot. Anyway, I guess this is a very realistic come and spend a day with me with a newborn. Right, what I'm gonna do okay, right, I'm gonna go and get his bottle and then we'll continue this in a second. I mean, seriously, excuse the hair. I get serious night sweats at the moment. Look at him. Hey, I do. Oh. Just a little day in the life. Come and spend the day with me. That's what I mean. With a newborn, postpartum things. One being the night sweats, hence why I literally every day I wake up. I've got really naturally curly hair, and I'm literally waking up with like, today's actually not as bad, but like so much curl, so much sweat. And I thought, talk through a little bit about like some of the postpartum bits because I was not ready for that. That was a bit of a shock. Some of the hormones and the feelings and the emotions and different bits that happens. But welcome to the world. This is, see if I can do it. Ah, my head's in the way. There we go. Oh. So this is Danny. Oh. Okay. Right, I'm gonna just do a little bit of winding, bit of burping. Maybe let's see if we can get you to have a poo poo. Yeah. Have a poo poo and we finish off that bottle and then we'll be back. Is that better? Are you going to do a wee wee on mummy? You going to do a fountain? So he is a little bit more settled. He's having a really unsettled morning because I think he needs a big old poop, which is what I love. We basically changed. Look, let's have a little look at him. Yay. Is that a bit better? Yeah. Little Danny boy. Yeah, so he's been a little bit grouchy this morning from about 5 o'clock. You can just feel that he's like trying to push a poo out. But we changed his formula from basically one that the original one that I bought was like pre-made bottles in case he wasn't going to be able to breastfeed. So I took that into the hospital with him, and unfortunately he wasn't very good at breastfeeding, and he also had jaundice, so he fell asleep on the boob like instantly. It was so frustrating. I might go into that a little bit more later. But we ended up using he basically could feed really well on these little bottles because they don't have to do anything. They just lie back and enjoy, where you've got to work at it so much more with breastfeeding, and he just fell asleep so quickly. So I did a combination feeding for quite a while. So we had boob and had bottle, but we kept the same formula, these little pre-made bottles that we bought. But actually the supermarket that we do our main shopping in doesn't have it. So we were like doing all of our main shopping, and then I was like, oh God, we need to now go to here, to Tesco's or wherever it was, to go and buy just formula. And we'd forget, or we'd end up ordering, I ordered it on Deliveroo a couple of times. I was like, oh my God, we've run out of formula again. So I've spoken to a couple of people, and there's such a mixed review about changing formula. Said actually they are all regulated to the same thing. The main thing is it can obviously make them feel a bit like if it is slightly different, potentially their stomachs are so sensitive. So we basically, let's cut a really long story short, Carly, shall we? Is that we changed it yesterday. So I think potentially that is why he's not had a good old poop yet. But I think that's why he's a little bit more grouchy. And he actually does tend to be a bit more grouchy in the mornings anyway. So yeah. So that'll do. Trying to find somewhere to lean you guys on. I probably got loads of leakage. So basically my breastfeeding journey had to come to an end. It just, the combination wasn't working. So he would get so confused between latching onto the breast and then the bottle, and found the bottle obviously much more easier. I was pumping like there was no tomorrow. Basically my demand wasn't there because I couldn't at the very start feed him that long on the boob. So new to this, like this is my first baby, had no idea about the whole supply and demand, had no idea that what I need to be doing is basically pumping all the time to get that supply up. You're bombarded with like visitors, things to think about, changing nappies, that I probably wasn't in that headspace of what I really needed to do to get my milk kind of up. And no one really tells you. Like it's the part after giving birth and you're at home, you are just basically figuring it out. And yeah, so anyway, very emotional, but ended up saying, right, this just isn't working. Like it's not working for him, he's not getting fed on it. It's not working for me because I'm really it's horrible seeing someone cry, not latch on, and then every spare second you've got just sat with the boobs out pumping, and producing hardly anything. If I was producing milk whilst I was pumping, I'd be like, right, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I really wanted him to get as much breast milk as possible, is I'm going to just pump, bottle feed him through, but with the breast milk. But I would pump, let's say, 4 or 5 times a day and produce 90 ml in total out of those 5 pumps. Breast. I had one of those little catchy cup things. I was in the middle of the night pumping, and my milk just was so low. The supply just wasn't there. And he was getting really bad wind from going between the two, because he was basically, here we go. He was basically sucking the bottle like he was sucking the breast, and creating loads of wind. So anyway, it was not a nice decision, but I'll be back. Anyway, I totally went off topic of what I was going to say. I started talking about the fact that I started to have slight leakage on the top probably, so I'm going to just hold it like this here so you can't see. But anyway, what I try and do in the mornings is, obviously he gets up, feeds, burps, poos, cuddles, and then once he's a little bit more settled, which he isn't massively today, so it's taking me a bit longer, is I will just sort the bedroom out, like put clothes away. I will get myself ready, because actually I found that has made me feel a bit more sane. Like I found if I was like just in my pajamas all day, and I don't put like smart clothes on, I'm putting like joggers on, but like not pajamas, if that makes sense, or just like black leggings and a t-shirt. But putting a bit of moisturizer on, brushing like the night sweats out of my hair, it just makes me feel a little bit more together, because that is again something that I did not realise I would struggle with a little bit postpartum, how your life in a really good way, but has totally taken a flip and productivity is very, very different. That's something I'm actually going to speak about later. But couple of my real like, oh wow, okay, that was quite a struggle. The postpartum bits, the leaky nipples, the night sweats are two of them. It's big blue eyes. Yeah. But yeah, do you know, but newborn life is unpredictable. And that's just how it is. And that's something that I'm learning. And babies cry sometimes. And that's also fine. Sometimes they will just have a good old cry. You've done everything you can. You just got to soothe them. And they just started like going through, sorting my hair out. As you can tell, it is crazy. And I'm pretty sure there is a hell of a load of baby sick. There it is, all through there. So sexy. So I'm going to take the opportunity whilst he is actually properly sleeping, because like I said, it makes you feel a little bit more normal. Some days I can do it, some days I can't. So hair, I've literally just like rushed and put the straighteners through it. And my hair is like a naturally wavy curly, so it just, like if I put a slight little wave in, it just stays. But I'm avoiding doing any heat on here, because again, another lovely postpartum symptom is that all the breakage in the hair, which only happened literally afterwards. I thought that would happen during pregnancy, but it didn't. So that was, it's nice. It's like I got bang, like a proper fringe going on at the moment. So I can already hear him tossing and turning. I think he's given me a couple of minutes sleep, but it's good. He slept really well last night, so it's I quite like it when they're awake and a bit of eye contact. See, yeah, a bit of eye contact. I think he's due another feed as well in a minute. So all I'm going to literally just do today is shove on a little bit of under eye concealer to make myself look a little bit less asleep. Although sometimes I find that when I put concealer on, I look even more tired. You know, when you're like, your eyes are so squinty, it actually doesn't work. And maybe just shove a bit of colour on, because I'm gonna try, basically I'm starting to really think about work again, which is ridiculous. I mean, he's literally 2.5 weeks, but being self-employed, you have to. And I've had real issues with actually my mat pay and loads of other personal things to do with finances and mortgages and all this sort of stuff. So I kind of had to get my head in the game a bit quicker with going back to work, which is not ideal. But a bit of filming today, a couple of things just for like finally kind of getting back into it. So I thought actually I'm gonna put a little bit of face on just to feel a bit more normal. Right, cheese, you okay? So I'm gonna quickly have some breakfast. I think it's nearly 11 o'clock. And then he is definitely due a feed, but he hasn't given me any cues that he needs a feed yet. So I'm just going to let him just doze for a little second and then quickly eat this. And I think we've got a little cheeser. Our table is currently covered because it needs to get varnished. So it's now nearly 12 o'clock, I think. I think this might be his kind of bit more solid, longer nap. So I'm going to let him proper just like get really, really sleepy on me. And then see if I can transfer him into the cot just to have a bit more time. So when he was first here, the first week, I mean, they just do obviously sleep all the time, and he was jaundiced as well, and they just sleep constantly. So that was like, it was quite nice because you kind of had like 2 to 3 hours gap where you're like, oh, okay, I can quickly do the kitchen or whatever it was, or sit and just process what's happened, because the birth was very long. And all fine now. He ended up coming out with emergency, like, I don't know if you call it emergency forceps, but it was about 2 and a bit day labour. And then like the pushing phase just went on and he just couldn't get the head through. Anyway, no, I always seem to digress anyway, but a long time in labour and then a couple of days in hospital afterwards as well. But he came back and then he had to go straight back into hospital because he got tested for jaundice, which meant that he was super sleepy. I was like, oh, this is easy. This is exactly how newborns are. Oh, sorry, Peppa. You know, what's the big fuss about? And then the last kind of couple of days, we've just had them. It's just the morning, really. He's up throughout the night, but that'll be his like. Yeah, so he around like kind of 8 o'clock, he might have a feed in the morning, and and then till about now, which is about 12 o'clock. There is like a little bit of downtime, so he might snooze for like 10 minutes. He almost like cluster feeds through this little bit. Sorry, because I got your arm there. Are you agreeing? Through it, and then he'll then have like a super long nap in the afternoon. So maybe hopefully about now, and then maybe another one a little bit later. Then in the evening, it kind of becomes again a little bit more clustery. I'm sure that it's all going to change. But I thought, whilst we have the opportunity, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Go on, you can have a little snooze in here. I was going to go through some of the sort of like postpartum, a couple of things that were like I just didn't expect at all. Like I knew I'd be emotional. I knew that there's gonna be a new way of life. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't like thinking I could just go back to my old life, but I definitely, it's taken a while and I'm still not there. And I don't think I will ever really be there with him when it comes to the productivity side of things, where I think I might have mentioned earlier. So this first part of this video was probably totally chaotic because it was morning and him crying or waking up every couple of minutes. So hopefully this might be a bit more calmer. But I have found, and it's mainly because of a couple of just things that have gone on that have been out of my control. When it comes to like mat pay, mat maternity pay, stuff to do with the clinic, our mortgage, things that unfortunately were supposed to be sorted, haven't been sorted, and meaning that there's then lots of things to financially my end that I have to think about when, you know, you're supposed to be in this amazing little baby bubble. And I have, because I absolutely love him, but I haven't been like, I've had lots of other things to think about, trying not to dampen anything. Like things will work out, and I am in such a fortunate position in many other ways. I think it's the fact being self-employed is very, very difficult when you cannot go into work at the moment. Like I couldn't physically, because I had a very bad tear, go and do what I was doing before. I couldn't sit on, I can't even drive properly at the moment. So, and also I've got a 2.5-week-old. Like I really should not be thinking about work, but that is where my brain kept taking me. And then, so going back to like the hormones, I just did not realise how hormones would affect me. Like I had about 4 days where I could not stop crying, and I felt like the biggest failure with everything. Even though, like, without tooting my own horn or whatever the word is, I have taken really well to being a mum. Yes, that little smile. Even though it's monotonous, you do the same things again and again, I absolutely love it. I'm a very, like, I love the potting around. I love sorting him. But I didn't realise, because I then couldn't do, I don't know, reply to messages or feel good or whatever the you know, my normal stuff that I used to do. I couldn't drive, I couldn't go to the shop, I couldn't, you know, all I was doing is a bit of housework and sorting out him. which is a massive achievement. And also then sometimes looking after my partner's little girl. So I almost was looking after, I had like looking after two children when I was going through my first experience of being a first mum. You know, there are loads of things I know I was achieving, but for some reason, and I think it's the hormones, and because of these other things that had failed me when it comes to like the personal stuff, I just felt like such a failure and would honestly just cry and proper tears. And sometimes it would get to like 4 and I would put him in his Moses basket, pour like a glass of wine and just literally just sit on the counter just being like, oh, I think I've made the wrong decision, which is horrendous. I don't feel like that now, but I honestly was like, I'm not cut out for this. Like, I was mourning maybe my old life in a weird way because I could not visualize how to fit in all the things that I used to do whilst I had a newborn, and then I had to realize that you just can't fit in. You know, that's why people have a year off work. That's why people have 9 months off work or whatever. And I'm week 1 at this stage going, okay, I need to think about work. I need to think about the socials. I need to, how am I going to bring money in? Because blah, 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 all these different things. And then other little things. I struggled with multitasking. I was struggling I got really upset because of the breastfeeding. So it all happened at once. Found out some stuff about our mortgage. Matt Pay found things out about that didn't happen. Going through massive hormonal changes. Breastfeeding wasn't going well. You know, he had lots of breast milk from me, but I just couldn't supply enough for him to be full. Like I was saying upstairs, and made that decision that this isn't working. And I found that, I'm gonna get teary talking about it. I found that the biggest failure, because for me, fed is best. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with formula. That's what he's on now. But it was a personal thing for me. I really wanted to, and I was only going to do it for a couple of months because of work. He needed to get used to the bottle. He you know, I don't have, unfortunately, the luxury of being off for a very long time. I'm going back, you know, in November. But that made me feel like such a failure. And there's all these other things that were going on as well. And people do judge you, unfortunately. I love my parents a bit, but, you know, when they came over and they asked how's it all going, and I kind of explained that, and it was the day before I'd made that decision. I know well, breast is best, and, you know, we'll pay for you to go to these classes and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and then midwife saying like, oh, that's such a shame that you've given up. And it wasn't like, oh, I've given up. It just, he wasn't getting fulfilled from my breast. And yeah, anyway, that's another really long story. So that for me was the hormone surge was definitely one of the one of the biggest shocks that I was not prepared for. I was not prepared to cry at adverts, to cry because I literally spilt something, cry when I looked at my baby. Like, my partner Sam would say like, oh, how you doing? And I couldn't just say, no, I'm okay, without crying. Like, it was ridiculous. And then just one day I woke up and I just felt a bit more normal. I felt a bit more like myself. I was, because I was on quite a lot of pain relief, my face was so puffy and I didn't really recognise myself. I couldn't even look in the mirror. And again, it's another postpartum thing that I guess you're not prepared for, which is ridiculous because there's no way your body's going to go back to how it was. But body is so different. When you're pregnant, you're pregnant. And when you're not, it feels different. And I know that obviously things go back, you know, they do change. I'm you know, he's 2.5 weeks. But again, didn't think I'd struggle with that. Found that really hard. And I still don't fit into maternity clothes or my normal clothes now. So I'm literally wearing leggings and t-shirts, and that's absolutely fine. But again, and I'm a massive wonk here, sorry. Again, I just struggled a bit with that, and took me a little while to get my head around it. And I think it's all first mum stuff, isn't it? Like, it's the first time you've done any of this. It's the first time you've seen your body like that. And people do talk about it, but do they talk about it? I don't know. So yeah, so that was definitely another one. What else was there? So as I said, all hair snapping. It all happened afterwards. That doesn't bother me actually too much. Boobs. Yeah. And your boobs going rock hard, because mine didn't ever properly come in. That when I decided to stop, I didn't get that really painful boob. I got real sore nipples when he was breastfeeding. So I managed to do about 12 days, and I pumped as well. So we did get quite a bit of, well, not loads, but he did get breast milk from me, which is great. And I absolutely loved the feeling of breastfeeding when it worked, because a lot of the time he would scream and wouldn't latch on at all. And I feel hopefully lucky enough that if we do have another one, I got another shot at it. And the main reason that didn't work was because he came out forceps. It's really, really, and he was a big baby, like 9'4", I think he was. And his head basically got kind of stuck. So we did like an hour or so of pushing, head got stuck. So then his heart rate just went, and it all just got very complicated, and an emergency to sort of basically get him out. Luckily, it didn't go into C-section, because that's something that I really wanted to try and avoid. Obviously, you can't sometimes. But it's really common that that they get jaundice after. And with jaundice, they're basically super sleepy. Obviously really yellow in colour. So he was back and forth to the hospital. Luckily, his levels were never high enough to put him under the incubator. Is that right? The blue light thing. But what they said we have to do is really feed him to flush it out. And that is why we had to bottle feed, because he just wasn't getting anything really, or hardly anything on my boob, and falling asleep on the boob. My milk hadn't properly come in, so even though I was expressing, like I said, about 90 ml for the whole day, which is a bottle, and they need God knows how many. So yeah, it just didn't work out. What is mad though is that, like I said, the birth was long, it was painful, not a lot of pain relief at all. I'm remembering it. I might do a proper birth one actually, just talking about that. But anyway, even though like it was, for me it wasn't traumatic, but people keep saying to me it was a traumatic birth. I relive it in my head every day, and I would do it again, like every day. My partner is more traumatized than I am. He literally was just like, oh my God, that was like, because we did have a day where I was mooing like a cow, and I was just about before the pushing phase. I was in the pool, like gnawing on a towel, just gas and air, probably closer to 10 centimeters dilated by this point. And I remember like looking at the midwife being like, I need pain relief. And they're like, you're too far gone. And I think they thought I was handling it okay. But the noises that were coming out of me, but I would do it all again. I would happily relive it, do it. I absolutely loved it. I would think about the birth and just burst into tears, because I was like, oh my God, it was so amazing. And Sam's like, it was horrific. He's like, I've never been so anxious. Like, and I've never, because we got so close to pushing that head out. And it was intense. It was really intense. I might do another video just on that, because that's cool. Look at those lips. Oh. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Hello. Oh, we've almost got a real sleepy baby. I'm gonna try. My thing's too low. I'm gonna Squat down and rock. So I'm gonna try this sling. I'm gonna higher up that camera because I can't do it at the same time. But we had quite a productive day actually. He had about a 2 hour or so, hour and a half maybe nap. Looks like he's gonna go straight back to sleep now. So I managed to get a little bit of work done and get ready for going out. But I'm gonna just do a little bit of just housework. I need to make some lunch. So let's try and pop him in this sling, hang on. Okay, so, I've got 2 dogs right by my feet. And the cat, every time I try and do this, if the cat's around, she goes mental for the playing with it. I've tried it once, failed miserably because he's all right. Because he started crying and I didn't have the brain capacity at the time to figure it out. But I've had a look at the instructions. So I think the label goes here. Is this right? Oh. And then, what I kept getting wrong, I think this goes over the shoulder. See, hair lasted down for like whole half an hour. I got sick in it again. I'm trying to I don't know if I said before, I'm trying to keep it down, not pin back because of all those split end bits. But it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So then, you right, Danny? Oh yeah, big poo. Big stretch. He still hasn't done a poo. So I think that's because, hang on. Did I cross it? I've crossed it. Then I cross it here. Yeah, that's it. And then around. Perfect. I've done it a few times where I've never actually put him in it. So, I did read the instructions before. I put the camera on. I was like, oh my God, let me just figure out how this works. It just doesn't feel quite. Let's try. Shall we try, Danny B? Shall we try? Oh, so I think we put, this is where I get really confused. Oh gosh, hang on. Is it that one into there? Let's have a look. Yeah. But I think you've got to go this side first. That's where I get confused. The one underneath, you've got to go in first, I think. So that's it. Like that. No, it's not. I'm getting that wrong. But then that goes to this side. And then he goes into here. Yay! That's it. I'm going to use the camera as a mirror. But then you go, what am I going to lick my finger? Get him in the bum. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Is Mummy doing it wrong? Oh. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, is it okay? Yeah. Right, I think that is right. That bit. I think he's a bit grouch, but then I think you basically, I don't know if this is right. I'm gonna have to have a little bounce around and see. I think you then do that. Hey! Oh, Baba, you okay? Oh. I'm gonna check and see if this is right. Hang on. So it is right, but I don't think he wants to be on his stomach because. So I mentioned that. Oh, Danny. Oh. He hasn't had a poo at all since yesterday. So I think he's still eating drinking. I say so much. I think maybe being on his belly, a bit confined. Is that a bit uncomfortable? Yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable, Mummy. Oh. Right. Plan 2. What should we do? As we get you. Your belly's a bit sore. Hey? Oh, Baba. Okay. let's think of plan B. So, sling is a no-go today. A couple of farts have come out, but we've had no big poo, and I just think his belly's a bit sensitive. So when he's in this position, he's nice and calm. I'm just trying to get him to sleep so I can make a quick smoothie, because I've had like a piece of toast for lunch, and I really need to pop to the shops because we're nearly out of nappies, and I need to try him on a bigger nappy because, well, he hasn't actually done it last night or at all today, because maybe I figured out how the nappies work better. Again, new mum, literally, you don't even know how to put nappy on. But he was peeing through loads. And quite a few of my friends said to try a size up. So I'm just going to get his normal size, but also a size up. And you can probably tell we've got a new little outfit on because there was lots of sick and loads to come in front of me, and I've still got the sling on. But I think he's just about drifted off enough for me just to put him down. So I'm going to shove all of this stuff into a blender, and then we're going to get going. So I'm just getting ready to go out. It's 3:05. My plan, sorry, I'm multitasking, at the start of the day was to try and be out by 1. I wanted to miss all like the kids pick up school traffic. But I think I overset my expectations today of what I could get done. As in, like, I wanted to like reply to clients and set my working dates back up and do an Instagram post and blah, blah, blah. And the fact that he's been really grouchy, and he's actually not been grouchy at all. I'm so lucky. He's so easy. I'm just trying to get these bottles prepped. So when I go out, that's one thing I've learnt. All new mums, never leave the house thinking it's going to be all right. I'll just quickly pop here. Take everything with you. Take food, changing, spare clothes, even if it's like popping to the shops, because I've had a couple of times when I haven't done that. Well, no, once, and I learnt my mistake. Sam was like, did you pack any food? I was like, no. Like, where did you pop into those? And he cried the whole way home, and I cried the whole way home. What am I doing? That goes into here. So yeah, I'm just prepping some bottles to take out with us, making sure that the baby bag has got everything, and then I'm gonna head and actually buy some food and some nappies. Got him all ready to go out, and then he demanding some food. But when they do like, he was doing it a minute ago. I thought I'd get my phone quickly, but he stopped doing it. When they do like the drunk like smile thing, he looks so unimpressed. Oh, it's got your eye. You look very chunky from this angle. Not very flattering, is it? Hey. So it is literally about 4 hours since, well, on my original timescale that I wanted to get out. When I seen it was 3 o'clock, I was like, right, be out the door in 10 minutes, and it's now 3:45. It's, I don't know if you can hear it, raining. So I was gonna take the dogs out, but it's just a bit too much trying to get both the dogs. You can see them in the background. Baby, rain, park, shop. It's been a busy day today, so I am gonna see if the rain stops and get Sam to take them out maybe a little bit later. We are taking them on a really big walk tomorrow because it's Saturday tomorrow, so we're going to take them out. We try and always do like really long walks on the weekend. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to drink. My hand in the way. Of course it is. And look, this is a lovely bit of sip. on there. I didn't change my t-shirt, I've just zipped my coat up. But as I didn't have any lunch at all, I had a piece of toast, and I'm trying to get a bit more sort of fruit and veg in to kind of get a bit of energy and stuff. So I made a bit of a smoothie, so I'm going to attempt to drink that now. And then I've decided we're going to do super easy tea today. So we're going to do fajitas, and go and grab all of that from Aldi. Go and grab a size up nappies, something else I need to get, butter, all those little bits and bobs. I'm going to hit rush hour, but that's fine. I am wet, rushed around. I'm gonna get myself a nice bottle of wine as well. I'll have a glass of wine later, but I'm gonna leave it here because, quite frankly, I'm quite exhausted, and food shopping's not that much fun to film, and then I'm just gonna be cooking, and kind of hopefully Danny will be a bit more settled later, and hopefully he'll poo. If he poos, I will update you. I think that's why he's been more cryy today, or just real more grouchy after he's eating, and you can just tell he's trying to push something out. But I hope do you know what, as I was filming some of this, that for any new mums out there, I do hope that some of these little things I've spoken about, or just seeing kind of how long things take, make you feel a bit more normal, because it is the weather. It is quite tough in a really different way to other things. You just got to, your way of life is very different, and that's hard. Do you know what, it's not that tough and hard, it's adjusting to a new way of life and not being able to do the same sort of things that you were doing before, or time scales of things you're doing before, and just getting used to that, I think, is probably what I find the toughest. The actual day-to-day, lack of sleep, the feeding, the crying, all those sort of things, I don't find that challenging. They are hard at times, don't get me wrong, but it's more the new way of life, if that makes sense. And realising that you can't do it all, and that you are just superwoman if you manage to get your baby dressed and you dressed. That is a huge achievement. Anyway, blabbering on. I was literally going to do like a really quick summary and close it up, and of course that's not happened. But have a great day. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.